To present this evening's Courage Awards, please welcome Fred Hertz.
So Subhi, Gertrude, Carine, please come forward. Subhi, Gertrude, Carine, please come forward. So while we're waiting for them to come up, I want to thank Horizons for extending this honor to people who have exhibited enormous courage. You know, each of us in our own way has been courageous. Each of us in our own way has had to travel from homes and countries and places which have not always been very welcoming. But the people we're honoring tonight have exhibited a level of courage that really is beyond what any of us could have imagined. Gertrude, Carine, Subhi. So we've asked Gertrude, who comes here from Cameroon, and Subhi, who comes from Syria, to each speak with you briefly. And these are just 3 of the 15 people that have been honored tonight by Horizons. And so let me first ask Gertrude to come and just introduce herself to you so you can welcome her to San Francisco, and her partner, Carine.
Thank you. I like the word to express to you my emotion. I'm deeply honored by the award you grant me today. On behalf of all refugees present, I address my sincere thanks to Horizon Foundation. I came to the United States 2.5 years ago for the LGBT Film Festival in Los Angeles, where Born This Way, a documentary in which I participate, was presented. Arrived here, I was not able to go back home because my movie was already put online and everyone could watch it in my country where homosexuality is severely punished by law and society. I was in foreign country. I did not know the system. It was difficult to me to have a conversation with someone in English. Besides that, I was worried what would become my daughter and my partner was in precarious situation in Cameroon. With the help of dynamic Morrison and Forrester lawyers and other human rights organizations, my daughter and my partner joined me. We had to live in shelter for 7 months. Despite all difficulty, I made my God card and began security jobs. Thanks God, we saved money, and now we are 4 months and a year in our own apartment. My partner found a job, and I returned to school to improve my communication skills. We enjoy our life here with our daughter. I cannot live without expressing my sense of appreciation to the Horizon Foundation for the fund they provide to help my family and I, to Carol Paleski from Jewish Family and Children's Services for the resources they brought us. Thanks to all those who took part in our adaptation in this country. With your help, your advice, your support, and your warmth. We made the impossible possible. Thank you.
Let me point out that in your program, in addition to discussing the stories of Subhi, Gertrude, and Carine, we have the three organizations: International Rescue Committee, Organization for Refuge, Asylum, and Migration, and Jewish Family Services of the East Bay that are being honored. So I now want to introduce Subhi, and I'll try not to cry. So Subhi came into our life about a year ago in a chance meeting by phone when he was volunteering for Aram. He then arrived here in June, welcomed by my partner Randolph, and just as an example of this guy's courage, at one point we said, Subhi, where do you want to go in the United States? And he said, oh, I'd love to go to New York. And by coincidence, I ran into Julie Dorff, founder of Igelherk, and she said, you know, the UN is looking for someone who will speak out about the conditions of gay people under ISIS. So I came home and said, Subhi, how'd you like a all-expense-paid trip to New York? All you have to do is come out as gay in front of the United Nations Security Council. There's only going to be about 200 people in the room, and you'll probably end up in Al Jazeera, CNN, and he kind of looked at me and said, after a little thinking, he said, sure. So Subhi Nahas is really a model of courage, and I introduce you to him now.
Thank you all, and thank Fred for the great speech and the opportunity to speak in front of all of you here tonight. And I'm honored to be here and speaking to all of you and to tell and share with you my story here. It's like I came to the States because of the conditions of my home, like country of origin, Syria. It's because it was deteriorating and the whole situation was going like really bad, and I was stopped by a government checkpoint, and they were targeting me because I was different, and because I was like definitely they picked up my effeminacy, and because I'm a little bit different than the others. And after that, I was targeted by the Islamist groups that came to my country and my hometown. And I was, sorry. So people started to become more aggressive and more conservative in my hometown, and they were started to target gay people, and they did it like publicly, and they said that one group came to the mosques in the country in my hometown, and they said that they will cleanse the city of all LGBT people and all the people who's involved in sodomy. So the city was not safe at all for me and for any other LGBT person. So I had to escape to Lebanon, where the situation was not that good for LGBT people because they were targeted by the governments and they were targeted by other people in the society was already conservative there. It's not a better situation. So I had to flee Lebanon again from people, from the government and the Lebanese government themselves. So I had to flee to Turkey, where I continued my activism more openly and more freely. And then I had to, So I had to work with an Arabic-speaking group there for LGBT rights, who were fighting for LGBT rights, and we were building ourselves, like we're building networks, and we were building more of a support network for each other. So, but then when we were trying to establish that network, people started like, the border was fluid and people were started to come more. So ISIL operatives were roaming freely in Turkey. So that was not safe anymore for me because of my activism. Because I was publicly out. So I had to flee Turkey through the UNHCR. I had to register there and I had to acquire the refugee status with them. So they referred me to the US and the US accepted my case, and I was very honored and proud to continue my activism in the US freely this time. And I had the chance to address the UN Security Council for the LGBT plight in the Middle East and the Greater Asia, and to tell people is like what to and I really want to thank the people who helped me to get to this position here, and the organizations that helped me to be here, like Organization for Refuge, Asylum, and Migration, and the Jewish Family Services and the Children Family Services that helped me to resettle in these states. And I'm thankful for this opportunity to speak here and to tell you about, to share with you my story, and to thank you all for this great night.
So I want to point out that there are 14 others. We have 12 other refugees and asylees